Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler at our usual time. Thank you for understanding yesterday. My head even feels better today, but I must admit, I did break down and take some, I don't know what it's called. I guess it's Excedrin migraine, but the Walmart brand, because I ran out of the name brand that I had. So, anyways, it was just so bad. I'm not alternating with the Advil. I'm not taking the Tylenol PM anymore. I'm not putting the lidocaine on me. But I couldn't deal with the headache anymore. So I'm hoping this helps. I guess I will only take 2 caplets a day though. But my nurse said that she would call me back. So hopefully she will. The nurse said the doctor would call me back. So we'll see. Not the PA. I called my doctor, my internist. So I'm not supposed to see her until Friday. But y'all are giving me really good advice, but a lot of conflicting advice. You need another dose, a prescription of the antiviral. You need the gabapentin, which I don't need anymore. Honestly, my pain is under control. The pings were kind of yesterday, but you know, I think that was just drama going on, and it just adds to the whole drama. So, anyways, speaking of freaking drama, the app, I switched over to text somebody and text somebody back, and I got like maybe 15 minutes into Jeff Lewis Live, and all of a sudden I was delayed because I was unload the dishwasher. I made a video about Annie and Jeff's new employment opportunity, whatever it is. We'll chat about it. And anyway, so that took some time and started laundry, did a crock pot recipe that I'm going to show y'all soon. Anyways, I had to make a video for like a great selfie stick that I'm got on TikTok. So I had to make a video for that. She busy, you know what I mean? So I was delayed on the app. So when I went back, it was already on Jeff Lewis Extended. And I'm like, crap. And once you do that, there's no going back. So that's something they need to fix. So whoever the app person is that Michael Beck knows to do this fan social app that we'll chat about, he needs to get that person hired at SiriusXM to freaking fix it, right? Anyways, welcome. If you are new, we love getting to know you. So get comfortable in comments wherever you're at. Wherever you're at, I love the selfie stick, but I also use it. It's a regular tripod up to 5 feet too. So I can walk it around my house. But the selfie stick option, and it has the lights already on it, and it's pink. Oh my God. I'm so tired of black equipment, right? So it came in black, white, or pink, but they were out of white, but I knew I wanted pink. So it is so cute. And it's a really good pink. Some pinks are kind of whatever, but it's a really good pink. Anyways, thank you, Annie. Delighted that you're finally getting better. We'll see what the doctor says when they call, right? Also, I do go see my internist on Friday. So she'll let me know, hopefully today when she calls, if I need another dose of the antiviral. All I need help on is how to do my best to prevent this from ever happening again. So, anywho, okay, not a lot of celebrity news. I mean, we know P. Diddy. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. That's all I'm going to say. Does she look into the Instagram camera? Somebody said, I know. Throw me a bone. I'm on TikTok, so I do try to read the comments, obviously. I am on a phone on my Instagram, and then my computer is YouTube and Facebook page. So I know. I try to whore myself out and make it easy on everybody to be on their own favorite app. That way I'm not forcing them to go somewhere. But anyways, okay. Not a lot, but like I said, I'm not touching that other story. But this morning, I had not watched, I take that back. When I was picking up my groceries late last night, I started the video of Kelly and Rick, but I was in my car, so I wasn't watching it. The pre-show was just coming over my phone, over my car. So then I got busy. I got home, unloaded the groceries, my kids helped and got ready for bed. And hung out with the hubs, and whatever that means to y'all, and went to bed. So anyways, I didn't finish listening to the video. So this morning, I looked at the Sarah from Texas Facebook group, and somebody said that was Annie in the video. And I was like, what? Like, why would Annie? So for anyone that's new, go check out my stuff or ask somebody else. Somebody can explain. I did make a video today, and I pretty much explained who Annie is in case anyone doesn't know, but all of us chumpettes know when we say Annie, who it is. She started, I think, pretty soon after college with Heather McDonald as her podcast producer. Did she make her reels? Does Heather have reels? I think she does. Anyways, producer, she would go on her live events with her. People knew her voice. People knew Annie, okay? Annie Sharp. She got a public Instagram. I'm not doxing anyone, stop. And also, she's got a public Instagram. Anyone with a public Instagram wants their name mentioned, right? She's got a podcast with her boyfriend. So, long story short, I reached out to her and said, hey, I would like someone to make my reels. Do you know anyone in Texas? She said, no, I'm in LA, but I can work from LA. I've been wanting to make my own company, so I would love you to be my first client. I'm like, oh my gosh, great. So we had a working relationship. I met her in person for the very first time, September 30th last year, when I flew out for the Chef Stu Amy Phillips event that they had. By then, Chef Stu had already noticed my reels that were fantastic. I loved my reels. Why is my phone calling? Okay. That wasn't the doctor. It was a spam, but I'm like, let me make sure I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. And so Chef Stu hired her. From there, Chef Stu recommended her to Kristen Tateman. Kristen Tateman hired her. Then Amy Phillips posted on her Instagram one day, anyone have a social media person? So I messaged her because she would have met her at that event. And I said, I'm working with Annie Sharp. So are these other people? She works for her. Now, I don't know who all she still works with. Okay. Annie, I do not have a working relationship anymore. I realized her prices went up for one thing. I was paying a pretty penny for a 3-month contract that we had. And also I was traveling so much that we kept having to delay the videos because I was traveling so much, and she was just kind of banking them, which honestly, I never even got to use all the banked Instagram, the reels. But at some point after January happened and I was just like, whatever, never mind. Just we're done. Because I wasn't going to continue on based on financial results. It just didn't make financial sense for me. Now, Chef Stu, on the other hand, his videos went crazy. I don't remember how many followers he had, but maybe 60 to 80,000 at most. And now he's got like 200 something thousand, almost 300,000. So his videos from her went wild. Probably easily paid off for him. So it sound like the sound and you are not syncing up. It might have been because that call came through. Anyways, sorry if that call messed up my Instagram. Sorry. It was a spam likely. Okay. Anyways, and so Stu did really well with her. I think Kristen still works with her because I follow Kristen, and Annie is in her videos sometimes talking. I don't know about Amy Phillips. I haven't seen hers lately, so I don't know. But if she is still working with Stu, we know Jeff and Stu are not on good terms right now. Wow, like I'm just shocked. Like that would be crazy to me. Like, wow. I mean, she's probably, he never mentioned anything about Sam. He never mentioned her. He never introduced her. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch it today. He never said anything on air. Will he bring her on air to bring up the Heather McDonald of it all? I mean, it would be fantastic for his ratings. Now, she has a podcast called like A to Z Age or something with her boyfriend. It's on her Annie Sharp Instagram. Okay. I know she has said, and she told me some things in confidence, but she has talked about an NDA with Heather. She has talked about some things. And I believe on one of her podcasts, she mentioned some squirrely behavior whenever the few times that she's now seen Heather McDonald at events, public events, that since she left her, I think it was last July-ish. Okay. Part of the thing with Heather was, she and Jeff came at each other, which meant Juicy Scoopers and Chumps came at each other, which meant I was in the mix of it because I was talking about it, reporting on it. But she was also, calling me a mini podcaster, a mini YouTuber, whatever, micro YouTuber, whatever she was calling me to put me down. And One of the things she did was she came up to me at BravoCon that Sunday that I've discussed, not everything. And she was like, "And I know that you've got Annie," or something like that. I was like, "Okay, like you're clearly upset that I hired Annie." I just don't know. I think Annie has talked about some physical altercations, maybe being accosted twice. I did post within the latest video that I made called like Jeff Lewis hires Annie or something. There's a picture in there of a description of one of her podcasts, and it's definitely talking about Heather McDonald. And so I don't know if the NDA is expired. I don't know what the rules are of an NDA, but she is definitely talking. So Heather McDonald is going to be, wow, pissed that she is now working for Jeff Lewis. I can imagine. I also don't imagine how it's going to go if she's still working for Chef Stu. Like, what? Like, that would be, my mind is blown. Maybu, let me know your thoughts. Maybu says, Sarah, do you think Stu would go back with Jeff if Jeff was up for it? I have said over and over, nothing would ever shock me. Nothing. Jeff has done many shocking things of circling back to people professionally, business-wise, all the things, right? So just remember how extreme he and his ex Gage were, and yet Jeff, 2 Christmases ago, whatever, was trying to do more than dad stuff with Gage, and he finally had to come out and admit it because Gage was going to say it on an Ask Me Anything, and he was with Stu at the time. So, you know what I mean? Yvonne Gow says, I think Stu wouldn't go back because they've said such harsh things about each other, especially Jeff towards Stu. But think of the things that Gage had done to Jeff, and Jeff was still trying to get in his pants. So, you know, I mean, more than that, I think he was trying to get his family back together, which is, I said at the time, is absolutely understandable. But yes, Coacha Connection says Annie should work for whomever can pay her fee. Abso-freaking-lutely. I mean, abso-freaking-lutely. But you know how this web is going to be, I mean, just wow. Also, I'm curious why, you know, Jeff is usually pretty transparent with us. So why didn't he mention yesterday? Thank you for tapping the screen over on TikTok. I appreciate it, Lisa, for encouraging people. Thank you, Lisa. It's just interesting that he didn't mention it. You know, we know people are going to see her on video. She was very clearly on video. I didn't get to watch the whole, I always watch the pre-show, the commercials, and the after show. I didn't get to watch them all yet. I was busy today. But, you know, he mentions Annie and he says her name, and clearly other chumpettes recognized it and put it in the Facebook group. Bravo and Stone says, I hope Annie is getting paid well to be a pawn in Jeff's mess. I mean, I know what I paid her, and I know what her fees were going to be with the next contract. And I was like, I just can't. It didn't make financial sense. I wasn't even breaking even. I loved my videos. I told y'all that, but they just didn't do it. They didn't perform. It didn't bring followers. It didn't do all the things that our contract was hoping to do. So I love her. But, you know, we did have a working relationship so somebody posted on TikTok something like, oh, you left out that you and Annie had a falling out. I'm like, in my eyes, I never had a falling out. I honestly know I did nothing wrong. I just ended something that, you know, I didn't renew the contract, right? But we didn't have a friendship. We had a working. She's super busy. We were on 2-hour time difference. I'm super busy. So adding in me co-producing these videos and making clips and thinking of ideas and reviewing it and posting it and all the things, it didn't pay off financially or with my time, right? So especially financially. But even when I would go to LA, if she was videoing me, like I did a great video clip, she made a great video clip, but it was my idea. And we did it together with Sarah Fraser when I was going to go on the Sarah Fraser podcast. And we did kind of this video promo. I mean, that was extra. I paid her hourly to do that. And it was, you know, wasn't minimum wage. I mean, I told someone, recommended her to somebody. gosh, about 6 months ago, and they were like, "Shit, I can't afford that." Like, and they're a much bigger podcaster than me. So I don't know what her fees are with Jeff, but he's got the money to spend. And he was even talking yesterday about the equipment that he pays for and how, reels can be a secondary income for him. But when you see the views are down, at some point he has to say, hey, I'm paying this and this is what it's making me. And you have to decide if it's making you money or not. You know what I mean? Jorge says, do you know how Jeff and Beverly D'Angelo are friends? I don't know that. I don't know how they met. Does anyone know that story? Again, most people that have been around know that I didn't start being able to listen to Jeff Lewis every day until I quit being a teacher for those 5 years. And it was August of 2021. So I think Beverly D'Angelo was on a lot more before me, maybe even before COVID. I don't think she was one of the ones on a lot during COVID, but maybe she was. So I never knew how to do the app, and I couldn't listen as a school teacher, and I would have never had time at that time with all my kids and activities. So Rebecca says maybe he needs to save some of that money to stop the Gage drama. Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand how that's going to fold out, right? How that's going to play out with what we chatted about on yesterday's podcast. Go back and listen to that, or join the Facebook group because we're discussing it there for sure. Anyways, they met through Megan, Taisha says. Okay. Michael Riley says, loved when Annie said that Heather grabbed her arm. Not cool. So are people pulling this up from her old podcast or an old episode, or did she re-talk about this recently? Because I don't know. I was literally just told this on the Facebook group, and somebody is going to send me what Heather is saying, because apparently Heather McDonald, I'm sure in the small town of LA, West Hollywood, the podcast world, the Jeff Lewis world, these chumps, everyone tells on everyone, okay? When I tell you I know that for a fact, because I know for a fact that a lot of y'all were sending a particular chump a bunch of information. Oh, Sarah's talking about you in her TikToks. So, when I reached out to that chump and said, hey, just so you know, this is what I said, whatever. And they said, oh yeah, a lot of people were DMing me about you and some TikToks, and I didn't know what. So I know y'all tattletale. And I'm like, hello, I will own anything I say or do. And also my intention behind it was just stating a fact. It wasn't anything negative. I was just saying several chumps unfollowed me around the time that Paige Davis unfollowed me. Now, I don't know what came first because I don't check who follows me. I mean, give me a break. Who would ever think to do that? But y'all do for me. And let me know. But apparently Heather on her Juicy Scoop, I don't know if it's her regular or her Patreon, is now people are telling me, I have not listened. So I'm well aware that people's interpretations can be different. So this is not based on what I heard yet. To be clear. Okay. To be clear. People are telling me and saying in the Facebook group, the Sarah from Texas Facebook group, that Heather is now saying that Annie never even worked for her, which is bizarre, right? Wouldn't Annie have payments? And do you think she was volunteering her time? I mean, she didn't volunteer her time with me. She knew her worth, and she was not, she wasn't cheap with me. And this is before she went up in price. I don't know what she is, 8-9 months later, you know what I mean? So Mimi says, I sometimes wonder why Jeff is always pulling from Heather's piece to bring controversy to his show. It's just strange. There's so much talent in Hollywood. In his defense, as Jameson would say, I do think they had a lot of intermingling before their falling out. There was a lot of co-hosts that were on her show and his show. There still are. Somebody was DMing this morning that they thought he was very rude to Sutton Strack a week or two ago when she was on, dismissive and joking about her sheets business, what have you. And then right after that, she was on Heather McDonald's Juicy Scoop. So, Countess Luann will go on Jeff Lewis, and then the same day she'll go on Juicy Scoop. So they're not doing it to be whatever. I think they know that, oh, Jeff Lewis has a huge audience. Juicy Scoop has a huge audience. Let me go on both if they're invited. So I don't really think it's bigger than that. Well, that's not true. That's not true because I talked about on yesterday's podcast. Somebody told me, I can't verify this because I didn't see it and I'm not in Juicy Scoop Obsessed Facebook group anymore, but that is Heather McDonald's Facebook group. She is the admin. She pre-approves posts. She deletes comments. She deletes posts. She prevents posts from ever going up if she doesn't care for them. So, and I was in the group, so I know. Nothing ever, my stuff always got approved, but many people told me, hey, I tried to join, I tried to post this and she denied it, what have you. But somebody said that somebody asked about when Sarah Colonna is going to come back on, and that comment or post disappeared. So ZFL says, isn't it interesting how Sarah Colonna hasn't been on Heather's show since doing Jeff Lewis Live? In the beginning, Sarah Colonna, either on her Patreon or her own podcast, or maybe in a comment somebody sent me, was saying, look, there's nothing going on. I'm just on Jeff's show and I'm still friendly with Heather. Now, thank you for the heart. Real Broad. Oh, is that Zuba? Thank you, Real Broad in a Housewife World. Zuba over on TikTok. Thank you. She's posted that, but I think at this point now, there's something to it. The fact that she hasn't been on, and the fact that, Heather deleted that post or comment. Oh, so much. Anyways, okay, let's get into today's Jeff Lewis Live. Beverly D'Angelo and Joey Zauzig. I heard about Jeff's hemorrhoid. I can't believe it's still there. I mean, a hemorrhoid for a gay man might be worse than a woman. I mean, I don't know. I've had issues back there, but that's not my main source of so it's a long time. Even Joey Zauzig was like, wait, what? You still have a hemorrhoid? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. Thank you, ZFL, for saying, please hit the like button. Thank you. Make sure you're following me. Hit the like button, the thumbs up, make a comment, all the things that are free to help me. I would appreciate it. Please tap the screen. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing the live. If you have an audience that would like my stuff, please share the live. I'd appreciate it. Miss Lady says, Heather exposes people for a living, but you cannot expose Heather. She's nucking fucks. I like that. Nutting futs. I get what you're saying. Trust me, I've been on the other end of it. Trust me, I've had her telling me, don't talk about me. I'm just a podcaster. I'm not in this world. I'm like, yes, you are. Like, yes, you are. And you want to be in this world and you want to be mentioned. Whatever. Don't play that woe is me game, especially when you were constantly making Patreons about it and talking about it. Hello in Scotland. Okay, so like I said, I didn't really get to listen to Jeff Lewis. Did he say why he and Shane weren't going to be on the after show today? Because all I know is he wasn't on. It was really good, though, I thought. Michael Beck hasn't been on in a while because now we know he was filming Vanderpump Villa Part 2 and Southern Charm. So he is booked and busy. I have met Michael Beck a couple times. Very nice guy. He looks much younger than he is, so you wouldn't think. But if you ever scroll down his Instagram, which is public, I forget what, probably Michael Beck. I think he followed me at one time. I don't know. He probably unfollowed me also. Who knows? Maybe he didn't follow me. I don't know. I met his mom once, and his mom was like, we're such a big fan. She was very nice at the Hollywood House Lift season 2 premiere party. But he's got his shit together. Like, he is not just like, he has been in this business a long time. He is a worker bee. I think he's fun. I think he's cute. He's everything that Jeff wants to surround himself with. So it makes sense that they are in cahoots together with this app that Jeff mentioned a few weeks ago. Maybe it was during a commercial break. I think I shared it in the Facebook group, though. I try to share fun. Sometimes I make a video about it because sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes I don't have time. Sometimes I just have time to share it in the Facebook group. So anywho, it's called Fan Social, and it will be launching in about a month. It's basically a great idea that Michael Beck had, I think is what he's saying. He had the idea. He ran it by Jeff. They went into business together. So Joey was like, are you taking investors? And I'm like, yeah, because some of the chumps would want to be invested in that. So it's a cameo kick. It's a cameo sidekick of basically, which made me wonder. I was literally in the shower going, wait a minute, what if Cameo just adds that feature, like, people are gonna, like, take other ideas off of other things, you know what I mean? Okay, it's called Fan Social. Celebrities will get on it, the chumps will get on it, and people like us, fans, will go on it to not only maybe they'll get a video too, but I don't think they're getting a video. I think they're doing the 10,000, the 1,000, the drinks, the dinner, the lunches, come with me on a date. I don't know, maybe, these people that, what's it called? That like you can pay for a date, you know what I mean? Like, it's essentially a date, but it's just a fun way to like hang out with a celebrity that you love. I think it's a great idea. I did see a comment yesterday that said, I heard you paid $100,000 to hang out with Jeff Lewis to have dinner. And I'm like, I had to take a deep breath and be like, that's not even worth responding to. Everyone knows I was the one invited. I did not ask. I didn't even know the person, Melanie, before she reached out to me via Instagram DM and invited me to be a guest with her and her husband. But it was also a $10,000 dinner. I'm pretty sure, no offense, Jeff, but I'm pretty sure people ain't paying $100,000 for you. You know what I mean? Oh, you'll pass on the when you have one, Zuba says. I mean, I'm married 24 years. Let's just, guess if there's any action in the asshole. You know what I mean? Okay, I digress. Okay, but the show was really good. They really want, obviously, people to go through this app because I'm sure there'll be a fee, right, that'll come out of it. So they did mention, like, what do people like Instagram the celebrities directly? So that's going to kind of happen, but Jeff knows a lot of famous people. Not famous people. Let's put it this way. Yes, famous people. Jeff knows a lot of housewives and very interesting celebrities that fans will be willing to pay money for to have lunch or dinner with. Now, hear me out. I think there's some celebrities that are just so like on a pedal that people might be like, oh, I just would be too nervous. I don't want to. The circle that Jeff runs in is so charismatic, so talkative, so chatty, so fun. I mean, Michael Beck has had these dinners while he was in South Carolina, lunches. He said they were so fun. He's like, I'm getting paid to get drunk and hang out with people and chat. Like, okay. Joey Zalzik has been paid. I think Sarah Colonna has also. So why are you somebody commenting Trump on my TikTok? You're in the wrong Instagram live or TikTok live. Right. Melanie says, I wish I could afford to buy a dinner with Andy Cohen and Jeff together. That would be so freaking interesting to me. And I think money talks. I mean, at some point, I think anybody has a price. Everybody has a price, right? That would be some kind of dinner for sure. For sure. Anyways, they talked about dating a lot, getting on the apps. Joey gives an update about him and his ex-husband. I don't know if the divorce is already through. I don't even know if it can be through by now. He mentions that he's divorced because basically Michael Beck is saying, gosh, when I left out of town to go work, you were married and sober. Now I come back and you're drinking, you're smoking, and you're divorced. So I don't know if they mean divorced or means he and Brian are, separated, but it ain't good. Joey gives an update and says he's doing really well, probably the best he's ever been. He's happy. It sounds like he is maybe taking a step back in his finances. He says he's going to get a small apartment. He did make a statement about a house and how much responsibility it is as a single person. And I thought that was funny because he and Sarah Colonna both were like, yeah, you should just rent. Wait till you have a partner. And I was like, what are we in 1980? Like telling single people they shouldn't buy a home if they can afford it and if they can maintain it. I thought that was interesting, especially if it's a man or a woman or either one. Because I was like, I bought my own house at age 26 with no help, no down payment from mommy and daddy, nobody paying my mortgage, no one paying my insurance, nobody paying me to remodel it. It was me. And I don't regret it at all. But anyway, I thought that was an interesting whatever. But Joey tells us this story. Renee, what? Chump? I don't know what that means. Wait, you'll fly across the ocean for it? Wait, what? Hold on, I missed something. Mayboo from London is saying, Annie, yes, I'm coming when you go. I'll fly across the ocean for that. Wait, is somebody doing? Oh, you would? Annie says, I'd rather have dinner with Monroe, Ben, and Lucy. No, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. I guess not them, but those at like why? No, I would not want to have lunch with kids. Been there, done that, right? I'm a mom. Anyways, my Joey tells us that Brian is actually coming over tomorrow to get some stuff, I think, from their house. I guess the house sold. I don't know if this is the rental they were in. They were also remodeling, like gutting a house. So I think that's going to be settled because it was like he put money down, Brian put money down, maybe Brian's dad put money. It just was complicated. It sounded like Joey was the least financially invested in that, but clearly emotionally. They were married, building and remodeling this dream home that they thought they were going to have children in, right? But Brian is bringing hired security with him. Wow. Like that's intense. Joey seemed okay with it, but I thought it was really sad that things this many months later. When did this all happen? Maybe April-ish. It was right after spring break that they went to Cabo, and Brian went to Cabo, and then it was right after the attempted break-in. Yeah, April, Andrea says. Lisa says Joey has to be out by the end of this month. So today is the 17th, so in like 2 weeks. Yeah. Andy's way too busy. Oh, I don't know. I think Andy would take some time for lunch, for money, or dinner. He loves going out to lunch and dinner. He's practically a New Yorker. He's lived there now, 30, 40 years? Wait, not 40 years. Yeah, maybe 40 years. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, he's from St. Louis. He went to school at Boston University, right? Where Howard Stern did. Anyways, it was interesting. Not much more to add. Joey does say that Brian's company had insurance for surrogacy, like $200,000. So they had started the process of that, which brought up an interesting thing because it reminded me years and years ago, there was a bunch, obviously, I know a bunch of women either trying to have their first baby or trying to have their second or third baby, and, either infertility, secondary infertility, what have you. My husband's insurance had coverage for all that. And I remember thinking at the time, my gosh, I don't need to use this. You know what I mean? I am getting pregnant with my 5 children naturally. But I wish I could have given it to somebody else. But Jameson said the exact same thing today is I know I have this option through SiriusXM and I don't want to use it because I don't want to have children, but I wish I could give that to people that needed it because, Michael Beck talks about, hey, I'm in my late 30s and I definitely want a family. And now I'm realizing I may have to do this on my own. So he is starting to think, wow, I wish I had a company that was giving me 200,000. They also talk about D pics. I don't know what else how much I can say. The first and only D pic I've ever been sent, and don't even start now because that's disgusting. I already get enough gross DMs that I have to delete. People like, hey, and then like pictures. Oh, it's gross. I'm like, delete. Somebody, when Joey first started coming on, I didn't know who he was. I knew he was a big Instagram follower, TikTok or whatever. In my DMs, I just open it up and it's his D. And he was like, this is all over TikTok or all over Instagram. And, you can Google it. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, however long he's been on, 49, 50 years old going. So I messaged Joey and I was like, I just saw your wiener. And he was like, oh, who hasn't? He's like, yep, that's definitely me. It's all over social media. So they kind of talked about it on the show today, which I thought was kind of fun. Who's not legally married? Is that because they got married abroad? That's what I'm remembering. Maybe so, because remember they had a ceremony, but they didn't do the paperwork in the US or that other country. So, or maybe when you get married in another country, you also have to do like the legal thing, go to the court here. You know what I mean? Is that a thing? I don't know. Jeff keeps talking about how it wasn't even legal since the beginning. Yes, he would always tease Joey that he and Brian weren't legally married, that Joey was just saying married. which, he said today they were together 6.5 years. I mean, anybody would say, I wouldn't. I mean, I dated a guy for 8.5 years from 16 to 25. I never said we were married. No, we were not married. He might have stayed over at my house a lot because, he lived at home while going to law school, but we were not married, and I never refer to it as that. But I think some people might say a 6.5 year relationship and living together and buying a house together. Yes, he is not seeing the dogs. Joey posts about those dogs more often lately, of just like, here's them laying on the bed, Tuxedo and Winston. But legally, this is where it gets tricky and where you never think anything's going to happen. Legally, Brian bought those dogs. So whether they were rescued or bought, I do not know. Paid the adoption fee or paid the whatever fee, I do not know. Tiffany Chump says a lot of people play fake married. I mean, and really, I think some people are legally married, yet they act and live as if they're not, right? I think there are people that are not married who are saying they're married just because they don't want to do the legal stuff or maybe change their last name or the taxes or I don't know what, haven't the tax laws been more beneficial to where I don't even think you have to get married now to get like insurance? Maybe you do. I'm sure there's people that get married, take that step for all the tax benefits, if there even are any anymore, or insurance benefits. You know what I mean? Yes, the dogs thing is so sad, Yvonne Gal says. You ain't wrong. Sad about the dogs. Very sad. Yeah. Yeah. Better for them that there's no divorce. Yeah. Oh, crap. That's my doctor's office calling. Okay. Let's go ahead and end it. I really have nothing else to chat about. I mean, Joey's going to live in a cheaper apartment, but that's all I saw, his expenses. Okay, let me go ahead and call my doctor back. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you're following me everywhere at Sarah from Texas Podcast. Like, thumbs up, comment, all the things. I really appreciate it. Or listen to the podcast later at Sarah from Texas. Bye, Chumpettes. Thank you. Y'all are awesome. Oh, goodness. Of course, she calls now.